An interesting thing to think about as well is that not only is what we did in Venezuela beneficial to U.S. Interests, it's also to the best interest of the Venezuelan people. And that I think that Trump made a very good point of that in his presentation publicly and remarks, and so did Hegseth and the commander who ran the operation, General Kane, that these people have been oppressed for over 25 years. They were eating dogs and they were eating zoo animals to survive because while Maduro was living high on the hog, while Hugo Chavez's daughter is wearing $2,000 shoes and $5,000 dresses, etc., while the rest of the people starve.
Wow, like this is so bad. Like a whole country feeding on zoo animals. Like I expected more from the president anyway. It's not that it was placed here, it was also the people that put him there. So I just felt as a country, like you have to be very careful and cautious when placing a leader to serve you, because as a leader, that's what you're meant to do. I'm not just expected to dictate. Just take a look at Trump. One of the reasons I love him, God bless America. So I just felt as a leader, you should not be a dictator. You're not living in a military regime. So it's so bad anyway. But this is the first time I'm hearing that Venezuela people are feeding on zoo animals. Like it's kind of crazy anyway, but it's fine. All the best for them.
Good to have you here in your perspective too. Bolex, where are you from?
Oh yeah, I'm from Nigeria, from Africa.
Glad you're here joining the discussion.
This is my first time. Yeah, and actually the space it caught my attention because I'm so disappointed. So I was first in my first instance, I thought what Trump did was not supposed to be done like that, like just go for a president just like that. But then realizing that the people were even happy, so I just felt Trump did what the president was supposed to do in the first place, which was to make the what just make the citizen happy and satisfied as a country. Because how can you be a leader of a country and your people will be feeding on zoo animals? Like it's kind of crazy and it's very bad. Even Nigeria economy, like as it's not up to standards like the United States, we don't feed on zoo animals. So I think that's so bad.
Could you give us a bit of your perspective about President Trump's strike in Nigeria on the Muslims that had been killing the Christians over there? What has been the reaction to people in Nigeria over there to that action?
Yeah. Actually, I'm a Christian, but to be more precise, he didn't actually bomb the Muslims. He actually went after the Boko Haram, which are terrorists. Like they've been disturbing us for a while. Yeah, the bandits and the Boko Haram. But where I stay particularly is a high standard place, so I'm not threatened by any of them. So it's people that stay in the rural areas community that are threatened by them. So it has been a thing of worrying, and I'm even happy about that. Even our government, they didn't wage any attack or they didn't wage any complaint against Trump. I just felt it was a planned stuff. It was a planned stuff between the government and Trump, because you can't just come to a country and just do anyhow. And again, it's not that it was against the president, it was just coming to assist his fellow Christian. I think that's actually nice. They've been traumatizing us for a while. You must have seen videos of Christian complainings in Nigeria about what the Islamic bandits do to them. Like from churches, some of them might be in churches, they come for attack. That was very bad, to be sincere. But as a country, we are still trying. That's one of the aspects I say Nigeria is lacking on right now. But as a country, we are still trying to work on it. So it feels good anyway, because if I should look at the other aspect, it's nice, but that security is in some areas, to be more specific, in some areas, it's so bad. It's so bad, to be sincere.
The fact it was on Christmas is quite interesting. If we look throughout U.S. history, we've done many things on Christmas, while other countries have taken basically the day off from conflicts.
Completely agree. It was Christmas Eve that Washington crossed the Delaware to go kill the Hessian assassins.
Okay, I think we can get in Venezuela. Before we get to what happened a couple of days ago, since it's been in December, we had the first and second oil tankers captured that were part of one of the shadow fleets. I just had to say, Maduro was kind of just asking for what happened to him because he was just saying that forced to come and try to get him.
I didn't hear you. Can you please come again? I didn't hear you. Please come again.
Repeat that for me quickly, Damien.
Does anyone have anything to add about Venezuela?
No. What was it specifically you were mentioning about Venezuela?
We're going to start talking about the oil tankers being seized, and then we'll get into the capture of Maduro.
No, I think that's spectacular that they're taking the oil tankers. Trump is completely right about what he stated about one of the reasons. A lot of people are making this about oil, and I think that the left is going to try to capitalize on that. That he's just trying to make the oil tycoons rich. They don't realize the fact that it was American companies that went to Venezuela decades ago and built all of that oil infrastructure there. They owned the land, they owned the production facilities and so forth. And then when Hugo Chavez, the communist, came in and took over, he literally just took it away, said it's not yours anymore, and just seized it. So Trump was right about that. That was ours. It was not theirs, technically, in a certain sense. So by taking the oil tankers, he's like, okay, we're taking back some of what you stole from us.
And this is probably also going to have an effect into the collapse of Cuba too, since we sanctioned them.
Yeah, I'm on Rob with that because, and actually, why will a president, for that matter, be involved in drug trafficking? I can see of corruption, which is widely everywhere. I'm sure Trump is also involved in one or two corruption, but that's definitely for every leader. But drug trafficking, that's way too low of the standard. And Trump made it clear himself. He said this isn't a war, it's just a law enforcement move. Yeah, it's just a law enforcement move that in Venezuela and many other countries that I strongly disagree and call it illegal violation of sovereignty. Yeah, because that was many Venezuela people. That was I expect them to be fighting for they're supposed to be fighting for illegal invasion, but they are even happy. And their president was removed from power, and the United States says is pushing for a political transition. Like, let's just see how the thing ends. For now, we are just still debating on this. We don't know the what how will I put it, the main reason Trump did it. He said for this thing, but I feel they see a political motive behind everything that is going on.
I have read an article recently, I think just today, that there is also a oil tanker that left Iran a month or so ago, and that we're trying to interdict it on its way over here to the Atlantic.
I wonder if it's going to turn around now.
It might, and I also heard some. Maybe that's the reason why that 10 or 15 C-17s left Georgia and Kentucky yesterday or the day before. The same exact special operations group that just pulled off the Venezuela issue just left, and they landed in England yesterday, and some of them went to Bitburg, Germany as well. So I got a sneaky suspicion that they're planning on ramping up something over in the Middle East as well, and it may be the seizing of tankers. Looks like we don't have to talk about it now, but it looks like the Iranian people are doing a pretty good job so far of holding their regime accountable as well.
This might be the year of many regimes collapsing.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Like, Trump is trying to put some standards into position. Like, it might kind of feel somehow, but we all feel the motive and reason why he said he's doing it. Like, is just the normal standard how things are supposed to be. Like, Rob said earlier, I said tankers are there. They might be planning an attack in the Middle East. Like, but I just feel hope Trump is, and with other countries not come together. Like, but no, I feel no country can fight the United States. But one against the others, won't it kind of be a what? Will it not be a partial fight? Like all the other countries Trump is going against, they should all come together and wage a war against the United States. Like let's look at it from that angle. Like how do you feel? What can you say about that?
One thing that I think that was made perfectly clear by Trump's actions in Venezuela is that he just sent a serious message to China, Iran, and any bad actor that may have designs on harming the United States or overthrowing our Western culture. As an example, Pete Hegseth, when he briefed during the press conference, and then also he put out from the beginning of the time that the actual special operations mission began to capture Maduro to the time they had him in custody was a total of 27 minutes. And in 27 minutes, and Cuba just confirmed this today, they killed 32 Cuban special operations and security forces that were Maduro's personal guard. They wiped out more than one per minute. So they killed more than one per minute in the time that they were there on the ground. That is a serious message to the rest of the world. No matter who you are, we can come find you and we can come get you. And we only suffered, I think they said only 2 or 3, they said several, or a few, I think is the word they used. There's only several injuries to our soldiers, and they were so minor, they were not life-threatening at all. They were able to still continue the mission. Only one aircraft out of 150 suffered any damage, and it was not bad enough to keep it from flying and to keep it from completing its mission as well. And I've learned also that Venezuela had China's top-tier, supposedly anti-stealth radar on the ground and had Russia's top anti-air radar and missiles on the ground, and we walked through them like they didn't exist.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You can go.
Yeah, I respect the United States for that. Like, they are stealth in their activities. Like the kind of aura they give themselves. Like, just imagine, even in Nigeria, when they came to attack the Islamic terrorists, like it was an unaware mission. Like I commend them for that. Like I commend them for that. But see it, I'm still on the fact that let's look at it from another angle. Like all the people they've been attacking here and there, that Trump has been having issue with, like won't they later be an issue for the state later? Won't they later be an issue for the state later? Because looking at it, the reason the states are still at advantage over them is probably because these countries they benefit a lot from the states, but there might be a time that the states might need one or two things that Venezuela have in possession. Like they might use that to attack, and which might not benefit the citizen. Like let's just look at it from another angle. I'm not supporting the corrupt leaders or those involved in bad activity. Look at the likes of China, Iran, Venezuela now. Like all these countries, you pick an enemy today, an enemy tomorrow, an enemy next tomorrow. Like all of them coming together in the future, I feel it's going to be a big threat for Trump now and even after his regime, because basically the truth and to be sincere is that all these countries is not countries versus a person, it's country versus what a country. So even if Trump leaves, the United States will still stay, and they'll still be having some minor or major issues with them. Like I just felt maybe Trump should just try and for my own view. I feel Trump should just get things done, but it should not. He should do it. He should get it done in a what? In secret. He should make it anonymous. Like, it doesn't have to always show that, okay, I did it. Shay, can you get what I'm trying to prove here? That it doesn't have to show that I can. But I know Trump. Trump is a, as you know, Trump is a stubborn and is a very stubborn man, and he always make sure get what he want to do. And no man that gets what he want to do, like, that's one of the things I recommend and commend him for. Sure, he's one of the best president in the world right now, and he's always on the news. Kind of funny. Sure.
How weak the Russians actually have been with their wars. We completed our special military operation. We were in and out in 27 minutes, but I think it lasted for about 3 hours, and they've been at it for almost 4 years.
It's interesting. I saw an interview. I can't remember with whom at this moment because I've seen so much recently. Trump was worried, and so was Hegseth, about our traitors in Congress and the Democrat Party and rhinos tipping Maduro off to us coming down there. And so what I found out is that Trump ran this very same mission 5 or 6 times, waiting till they were right where all the aircraft were in the air, all of the special operations were loaded on the helicopters. They were in the air on their way, and they waited till the very last minute and then pulled them back, which I think is so smart. What he was doing is he was looking to see if anyone would leak something out so he could catch who was leaking. But at the same time, also, after they saw it go once and then pull back and then second and pull back, third, fourth, fifth, now they really didn't know when the real time was going to take place, so that it didn't do them any good to try to leak, because they could leak and then it'd be false, and then they'd have egg all over their face. So that's how he got around that.
What do we think is going to be happening next? Like, how do you think the transition of power is going to go? Right
now, I'm not exactly sure exactly who they're going to. I mean, I think that they have allowed the vice president down there, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, to basically kind of run things right now, as far as at least be the figurehead. But Trump has actually made the statement. He says, we're in charge. And she's actually made some statements publicly that seem to be like they're defying the United States. But Rubio came and said, he says, oh no. He says, that's all posturing on behalf of the people that are there, that are on the communist side, to basically appease them. He goes, they have agreed to do everything that we have demanded. And I think after them going in and taking Maduro, they know better not to cross him. What I think they would like to see is we're probably going to basically let her be a figurehead until Venezuela can actually hold a real election again, one that's not rigged in their favor. Now, when I say their, I mean the communists' favor.
So the Colombian president, I believe it is, has been saying multiple times to Trump, come and get me, you can't. So do we think Colombia is going to be next, since Trump says the Armada will not be leaving?
I don't know if go ahead. Okay. I don't know whether Colombia is going to be next or if Mexico is going to be next, because he put both of them on notice. The majority it's been made, a good point has been made that the majority of fentanyl has come through Mexico. And of course, obviously, Colombia is cocaine production. So both of the statements by both the female president of Mexico and Colombia's president, both seem to indicate that they're both worried. They kind of have to put that they have to have that public posturing in order to appease their handlers, if you will, because everybody knows the cartel controls them. The cartel has enough power in those countries that they can assassinate the president without even blinking, and those people know it. And by giving in and being willing to be a puppet for the cartel, so they got to be in a pretty bad predicament, because they know that the cartel can come after them if they don't play their game. But now they know that Trump's not playing games, and he can come get them too. They're not in a good position.
Hey, good evening. Sorry to jump in so late.
It's okay. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, I think one thing we have to keep in mind when it comes to what's Trump going to do next, I think his discretion he showed in this event kind of says we won't know, but we will know that it's going to be multifaceted. It's not going to be, he's not going to take out one thing and it just be that thing, right? So Maduro has links to the Dominion voting machines, the cocaine industry, of course, oil, Russia and China, power within the Americas. So it's not just while it is a precision strike, to be able to go in and take someone out alive shows every cartel in the region that not only are we capable, we're willing. Having it in Venezuela means that it's not on our border, so Arizonians and Texans aren't fighting with Mexico. But Mexico knows, and the cartels that control them know that we can and we will. The operation, I was actually looking for a book, I think it's called Ghost Raiders, Sam Kittle in Vietnam going in and rescuing POWs. A lot of the same type of operations, do the same thing multiple times so the enemy doesn't know which one's the real one. And I think they did a fantastic job. And I think that we can trust that Trump is going to do the most effective thing with the least amount of effort, least amount of risk, both in casualties and politically. He knows who his enemies are, and that's foreign and domestic. So the discretion was definitely the best asset, because Lord knows there's not anybody in DC that I know, and I work in this area. There's nobody I trust more than Trump, and there's almost nobody he can trust. So I think we can trust that he's going to do the best, most articulate, and most precision thing that he has in mind. And I'm pretty sure that since 2016, he's been planning all of this. And the more he learns, the better that plan gets. So I trust whatever he's going to do next. Just standing by waiting. And it is good to see. I do think the breakdown of U.S. aid, all the funding that's been going to these people to be manipulating other countries, I think that has a lot to do with what's happening in places like Iran, where people are starting to finally fight back. They're stopped being convinced by all the money that's coming in that the what do you call it, the cabal is trying to convince everyone that moving towards all this great replacement stuff is a good thing. And without the funding to do so, they can't convince the people anymore. So, although I'd have to say haven't seen anything in my time. I'm 50 years old. I haven't seen anything in my time that's truly grassroots. So every time you see somebody come together that say it's grassroots, typically the funding's coming from somewhere. So always, take all that stuff with a grain of salt and some skepticism.
So I was just looking on X, and not that long ago, there's been heavy clashes near the presidential palace in Venezuela.
Just looking at that myself.
The communists are not going to give up easily. They never have, and they never will. Yeah,
that's my only concern here is the communists that we keep putting in places like Portland and New York. The people that actually support them, while they may be weak-minded, they're dumb enough to do whatever they're told. So we may have to fight our way out of it.
We need to prepare for it. Better to be prepared for it and not need to do it than to not be prepared for it and have to do it. One thing I noticed too about the operation that Trump ran, besides being brilliant in the way that legally he got an indictment first and warrant for Maduro, so that it actually was coming from within our DOJ system, so he could then say our military was simply being used to assist law enforcement on the ground. And because they did it that way, that's where they legally could get around saying, hey, we don't have to notify you, Congress, because this is not actually an actual war, an actual wartime effort. This is our U.S. military simply aiding the FBI and our DOJ agencies in capturing someone who's on their wanted list. So that was brilliant, a brilliant legal strategy, I think.
Absolutely. And it's very interesting to see what's come with the tie-in of the Dominion machines going back to 2009, right after Barack Obama takes the presidency, installing that system in multiple countries through the CIA. That's some very interesting information, and I don't believe that Trump's was ignorant of that going into this operation. I think he knows it's a very pivotal point.
I actually think that's the main point, and here's the reason why.
Absolutely,
I believe that him capturing Maduro and the tie-in with the election rigging systems, Smartmatic and Dominion both, that was probably the pinnacle, or maybe even the main reason for him going in there. And here's a great reason why I say it. And I think it's also the reason why he decided to go in and capture Maduro rather than going in and just bombing him and taking him out, is because when now they can sit Maduro down and say, hey, we're willing to give you a plea deal and let you get a slap on the wrist if you will turn over to us all the evidence of every American politician, every agency employee who was involved in the election rigging of the 2020 election and before, because they talked about they know that the election rigging goes back as at the very earliest right now, but could be earlier, as far as 2006. And it's been stated publicly multiple times that there are members of both parties who were involved in it. So if it were me, Maduro and his wife need to be on serious security watch, because I guarantee there's a whole bunch of people in Washington, D.C. that are sweating bullets right now.
And did you see the list of personnel that Brennan listed on his recruitment letter?
I saw that, but I also did a Grok search on that, on the accuracy of it, and it pulled it up and said that actually had not been released by him, but that was a fake. Now I haven't confirmed that yet. Okay. That was just my initial fake. I haven't gone back to double check it yet. But yeah, I saw that and immediately was like, okay, let me check this before I share it. And sure enough, the Grok back and said that the list itself has been fabricated, while the other statements by him have been confirmed.
Yeah, I seen the list last night, but I didn't. I work in a vault during the day, so I don't get to see anything till I come home. But seen the list late last night, and I didn't recognize many of the names on there, but I assume that they're probably internal to CIA or something of that nature. But in today's day and age, being a false list definitely is more common than not.
Right. The thing is, though, is that with us being in charge down in Venezuela right now, too, not only do we have Maduro here in the States, to send down State Department officials down to Venezuela right now to go down there and forensically look through their computers and get whatever evidence we need right off of their computers if they haven't deleted it yet.
It makes it even more interesting about this gunfire that's going on this evening. Really like to find out who's behind all of that.
Is the gunfire happening in the States or where?
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, is the gunfire, is it happening in the state?
No, it's in Venezuela. Is what Nick Sorter is reporting on right now.
But I just feel all these attack the state is carrying, like he said earlier, he said they might be planning on attacking Colombia. I just feel it can be any of the other states. It can be any of them. I just feel it will definitely have an outcome, and I feel the states might not be prepared for that. Like, and I'm not looking forward to that because I believe it might create another world war. Started from somewhere, and it started from conflict and then disagreement. Then some people started coming together, and what they started attacking each other. So I just feel this is not going to end in a very good way. It's going to end in a very, very, very bad way. Like, I just feel is because I just feel Trump should just step back. Like, he should just mind what's going on in the states mostly, and any other country. If country needs the help of the United Nations, they should contact them, and he can help them, because I just feel that he went to intervene in the affair of the country. I just feel all these things that he's doing is gonna have an outcome.
Okay, Rob, when I made the post earlier to this day about what we would talk about, you were saying something about Rand Paul ties to Madeira. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of posts recently about how that one of them, I don't have the veracity of it verified, but the other one doesn't mention Maduro specifically. But is everyone here familiar with who Data Republican is?
I follow it
Absolutely.
a little bit.
Okay. Data Republican was the very first one to come out and say that she has evidence of Rand Paul's corruption. She didn't state what it was, but she says that she's got evidence on it. And she's the same people that exposed the USAID fraud. So it's coming from a credible source.
You may have seen her. She's deaf. She's been on some of the news channels before, and she's a big part of helping to untangle the web of USAID funding. She's I guess you would say, a computer scientist, tool builder. But I was wondering about the same thing. I'd seen the mention of it, like I said, late yesterday, and I had posted in there asking if anybody knew anything about that as well. I didn't realize it was coming from Data Republican, because I'll ask her about that.
Okay, I just pulled up here while I was listening to you. This is I'll post this in the group after the space is over with. This is from September 7th, 2025. Data Republican. The most telling evidence isn't in what Rand Paul says, it's in what he refuses to say. He's present at Senate hearings where USAID's activities are scrutinized, including in cases like Honduras, where USA has been tied to strengthened cartels, yet when those issues come up, Paul stays silent. See if next one. Rand Paul is the same person from Data Republican. Rand Paul is no libertarian, and here are the receipts. When Paul criticized the strike on cartel boats, it wasn't about principle. He spent his career entangled in the interventionist machine while calling himself a libertarian. He sits on the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, and in his own book, he went out of his way to praise U.S.-funded democracy promotion, groups like Freedom House, the International Republican Institute, and the National Democratic Institute, calling them nonpartisan. Nonpartisan? Members of Congress literally sit on their boards. Freedom House takes Soros money. They operate as State Department cutouts. Rand Paul defended them in his own words, and that's just the beginning. And she says, "Let's dig in." So she's exposed. This goes all the way back to September. Someone had just reposted this that I'd seen.
Oh, so she's a kind of spy for the United States.
For who?
I'll say, is she some kind of a spy?
No, she's a data analyst, and she posts everything that she does publicly. So that would be the opposite of a spy. So she digs in. She knows a lot about pulling data from the internet, from publicly available databases, and building tools that tie those data points together.
She worked
and
with the
produces reports.
She worked with the Doge committee that went into the U.S. government computers under the leadership of Elon Musk, and then downloaded all the information out of those and created databases of all of these funds, where every dollar went, what organizations that it passed through, creating a web showing where all the money had been funneled through all the multiple different organizations, all the way down to the very last organization that received money from it, of all this tax money that had been laundered through these organizations to go into the pockets of politicians or communist or even full out terrorist organizations. I just pulled up gunfire in Caracas. Looks like the majority of it seems to be anti-aircraft fire.
The U.S. must be down there again.
I'd be willing to bet they're taking out more drug sites that were used to traffic or create them.
That's what I was thinking when I seen the air defense.
Another thing we could talk.
So this is from Nick Sorter about 34 seconds ago. He said uninformed or unconfirmed reports state that Venezuelan government mistook their own drone for an enemy drone, which triggered a barrage of anti-aircraft fire. Once the friendly drone got a little too close to the presidential palace, forces reacted. So that's unconfirmed, but
That's
comical.
funny.
It's true.
I'm watching a video right now currently that was posted 30 minutes ago, and it says locals are recording gunmen going down the roads in Caracas, Venezuela. They're currently near the presidential palace. Something's about to go down. Okay, this may actually be the communist forces attempting to come back in and seize the government.
Also, there was a report earlier today where Venezuela was going to try. The police, I think it was looking for anyone that was working for the United States.
I'm sorry, say that again.
There's a report that I think it was the police was looking for people to tell them who was working for the United States.
Oh, really?
Well, if in fact this is bad guy opposition, they're about to find out the hard way.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, didn't they just get a lesson and fuck around and find out? I don't think they want to start looking for Americans or American operatives.
Now, given how that operation went down, if they had received any of that information, they got to be really stupid to be trying this. Either that,
Yeah,
or they're so desperate for their lust for power is so great that they just simply can't help themselves.
or looking for leverage. That's the only other thing I can think of.
Or they're the guys that were loyal to Maduro and that were able to live high on the hog while everybody else starved, and their gravy train just got cut off.
Yeah, that piss you off.
Not to mention the cartel leaders that are losing money.